This is the G and Ursula show. It is Thursday morning. G is off today, and I am joined by Angela Poe Russell, and we are going to be talking about testing. Were you a good test taker?
It depends, right? The
Me too.
standardized multiple choice always got me because I can make an argument for a couple of them.
Yeah.
2 plus 2?
If you gave me,
I could do 2 plus 2.
If you gave me an essay or just a fill in the blank, I'd nail it.
Yes.
But the multiple choice, I would start reasoning between the two options. What about you?
Exactly the same. So if it was an essay, I could just ace it. If it was
Fill in the blank.
I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Then you start second guessing yourself, and you go
start
back, blah blah.
overthinking it.
Exactly. Well, here's a mantra that I want to see if you agree with it. If at first you fail, try again. Should this apply to schools?
It means you try again on the next test.
Yeah, this is something that you brought up and wanted to talk about today.
Because I am seeing it, and I talk to my kids' friends, and gosh, I don't want to disclose too much because my kids will be so angry. But
I do all the time.
At one of their schools, I remember getting a notice saying, your kid's stuff is late. And they said the late deadline is this deadline. And then they said the late deadline is this one. And I was like, is it a deadline or not? What is it? But yeah, and then I talked, and I'm talking public and private.
Yes.
This is happening where if you didn't like your score on this one, you have an opportunity to retake. Now, those against this, or those who are for this, I should say, will argue that if it's really about helping kids learn, then you'll let them redo it and see if they can learn the material and that kind of thing. But I just think it's not teaching them to be accountable for their preparation.
I agree with you. Now, Eric in Columbia City just texted in and said, mulligan tests. Is the test the point, or is it the mastery of a body of knowledge? So what is the goal of a test?
Exactly. And I think that's the dilemma, right? Is we do want kids to learn. And I think there's something to be said for making sure they can know the material and be able to test and do well on it. But here's my thing. What if you had a child who studied really hard and prepared and did well, and another person slacked off, waited until the last minute and took the test and got a bad grade? But then you tell the person who didn't prepare, well, you can take it again. Where's the reward for someone? You know what I mean? Where's the reward?
Right. It's almost like a disincentive for someone who actually does the work. Now, we do know that there are people who can not study and still do well on those kinds of tests,
True.
right? Okay, but I think that's the exception. And I'm with you that I wouldn't want to provide a disincentive, but I think ultimately the goal for a teacher would be wanting to make sure that your student understands the material.
Absolutely.
So I was I was digging
Doing some
into
research,
this. Yeah,
Ursula?
exactly. Late last night, I was digging into this, and I think that there is a way to do it that is more fair.
Yes.
And I think that would be allowing for a redo, but it wouldn't be you take this home and you just now cheat from, and look at other people's tests and then fill it in and get full credit. No, I think it should be the most effective would be that you work with the teacher at an, after school or whatever it is, and then maybe you have the ability to earn up to half credit so that you're not failing, so that you can make sure that you understand the material, which is ultimately what we want, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're going to offer that second chance, it will be learn the material, but you're not going to take away from the person who did it right the first time, but you are also going to allow this person not to fail.
I agree. I think that's a beautiful answer. And I just want to put in this disclaimer before you
Chef
jump
is
in.
ready to-
Just one disclaimer I would say. I think that students always have special circumstances, and we should be sensitive to that and know what's going on with the kids. And I always think that teachers should be flexible in making sure the kids are okay before we just punish.
I think we all remember the days where we had the one teacher that was like, I don't care. Your mom died. You're still turning in your homework. I don't care if your pet died. You're still turning in your homework. This is a no excuse classroom. That's the way life works. Get used to it. And I think we've generally moved beyond that. And I truly understand the arguments against retakes, because does GPA actually mean anything for high school students and colleges if there is one school district or system that allows kids to retake tests over and over and over and over again. Is this just a move for high schools to make sure that their graduation rates look really good,
And
and
the
we're going to
GPAs
push
are
these
good.
people through who are consistently failing to complete their work? It seems like a duck out. That being said, I'm not really too concerned about, Becky, who wants to get into Harvard with her perfect 4.0 because some other kid who's struggling to learn the material got to retake a test. I don't think it is a zero-sum game like that. And it reminds me of the girl who would hold up her class on Friday and say, "Excuse me, you forgot to collect the homework because I did it and I know no one else did."
But here's-
And there may be one of those people, if not two, in the room with me right
I
now.
have one other quick point. It really isn't just about the grades. It's about teaching resilience.
How much
And
work does it
Tony-
take
Yes,
to
but
take the test
Do I
twice
have
versus
30?
once?
Do I have 30 seconds?
Yes, you do. Yes.
Tony Dungy wrote a book and he talked about, I think it was Quiet Strength, and Super Bowl champion coach. He said he made his players one day get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, go on a bus, take the 5-hour trip and play a game. And afterwards, the kids said to him, or the player said to him, "We did really well considering we had to get up this morning, go 5 hours on a bus and play." He's like, "You're missing the point. I want you to do well regardless of if you had to go the 5 hours on the bus and
Thank
do
you.
everything." So I think it's bigger than about the GPA and the grades. I think it's part of it, but it's also about resilience. I want to teach our kids that regardless of what's going on in life, you can do it, and you're going to prove you can do it. That's all
Agree.
I'm saying.
No, I agree with that. And on top of that, I also think that testing should not be the only measure of your success. So that would be another thing that needs to be changed.
G would say, "You better preach, Ursula."
Can I compromise with you?
Yeah.
Yes,
What's
let's
that?
compromise.
How about unlimited retakes, and for every time someone retakes a test and they complete it, they get a participation trophy?
You're funny.
Okay, Chef, that was everything.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that the goal would be to learn the information, right?
We can all
yes.
agree on that. Do we agree on that? Even
Yes.
for the girl who's like, "I did it."
Yeah, I'm still a little bit bitter about that. You can tell. I've been holding on to this since high school.